This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So here's an idea if you're the Yanks, and I was there 2 nights ago, and pretty dreadful series against the Angels. They split the 4-game set and didn't look very good. Angels, they're 10-10, and they can score runs, but they could never pitch. But here's an idea for the Yanks. How about walking Mike Trout? I don't know. Every time the guy came up in a big spot, he had a home run. 5 homers in 4 days. I know he's probably one of the 20 best players in the history of the game. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame, and it's nice. He's a Jersey guy, local guy, but how about walking the guy? But on a bigger note, I was actually trending on X last night. This is the other team, not the Yankees, the Mets, because I ripped Steve Cohen and the Mets for canceling Jewish Heritage Night. How is it the Mets, who probably have the biggest Jewish audience for any Major League Baseball team, if not the Yanks, the largest Jewish population outside of Israel anywhere in the world is here, and there's no Jewish Heritage Night for the Mets. By the way, I'm the one who told you about the Mamdani Mr. and Mrs. Met hug last week. The Mets are now 7-12. They've lost 8 in a row, dead last, but they're 0-7 since Mamdani hugged Mr. and Mrs. Met, and they're at Wrigley Field today taking on the Chicago Cubs. So everybody's laughing about it. Some people are calling me hateful and a racist. Others are laughing about it, but it is a bit of a story. Brian Kilmeade does a great job following me each and every weekday at 10 o'clock. Fox and Friends and One Nation on Fox News. It is a bit of a story, this whole Mamdani hugging the Mets and the Mets not winning a game since. Even you guys at Fox News, yes?
I mean, it's just, it's hysterical. I think it's 0-8, believe it or not. But, I mean, they're just playing terrible. They have no synergy. And I'll tell you, people are coming up to me all the time and saying, is it true that the Mets made these trades to gut their roster because to get rid of the conservatives in the locker room? I don't know if that is indeed true. Do you think it's true?
It's 100% true. It's Brandon Nimmo is the one. Alonso, no. They didn't want to pay Alonso, and Cohen kept him here last year. But the reason why Brandon Nimmo is smacking the crap out of the ball with the Texas Rangers is because he was a Trump supporter and didn't get along with Lindor and the other guys on the Mets. They fought about Trump constantly. And by the way, Lindor's wife, she actually worked on Mamdani's transition team. So it is 1,000% true, 1,000% that politics played a role, especially the Trump supporters, in ripping up the New York Mets.
Wow, that's absolutely terrible. But can you believe it got into the locker room? I've never thought anything like that. I mean, we saw a little bit in football. Remember when Belichick came out and was a Trump supporter, and Tom Brady went into denial about it, but he's clearly a Trump supporter. But it was dividing the locker room over the Patriots for a while and other teams. So I didn't really see it in baseball. I thought things kind of calmed down. But it's amazing. Nothing's happened. Sometimes you got to get rid of some players because the mix didn't work. Things have gotten worse for them.
No, they look terrible. There's no question about it. And again, they've only lost 7 since the hug. They have lost 8 in a row overall, but the hug game, they're 0-7 since, and we'll see what they can do against the Cubs. Not a great start for either, to be honest, of the local baseball teams. But talking about Trump, I've been waiting for this, Brian. I tweet like a madman. I yell and scream on the air. I don't think anybody in this country was more upset watching Mamdani in the Oval Office and watching my guy, President Trump, your guy, smiling, saying nice things about him. You know how nauseous it made me. It was so nice, finally, to see President Trump come out yesterday on Truth Social. He says, sadly, Mayor Mamdani is, in capitals, destroying New York. New York has no chance, and the United States of America will not help New York. So after months and months of telling us he's a great guy, he's going to try to fix New York, finally Trump lowered the boom on Mayor Mamdani yesterday. And I hope, Brian, that's just the beginning, because there's a lot more to kill Mamdani over outside of taxing the rich.
Yeah, and also, do you see Sean Duffy yesterday took $74 million from New York? He said, stop giving illegals licenses. It's dangerous, so stop it. So they lost all their federal funding, $74 million. And they'll sue back and forth with that. I also saw that Jim Dolan met with Trump about the revamp of Penn Station and the revamp of Madison Square Garden. And reportedly, Jim Dolan wants to know if he could get it named after him. Would there be a lot of support from WABC listeners for Jim Dolan to get it named after him?
No, I don't think so. I did see that. That's unbelievable. Jim Dolan. And, keeping it with the sports, you mentioned Sean Duffy. Yesterday on this show, I had Andrew Giuliani on, and we were talking about how this Mikey Muhammad Cheryl, she wants to charge people going back and forth to the World Cup $100. They're actually talking about charging people going back and forth between New York and New Jersey $100 a ticket to go watch soccer. And Giuliani said to me yesterday, he goes, Sid, listen to me. President Trump, you mentioned Sean Duffy, me, we sat down, we figured out exactly what the cost would be going back and forth. This is price gouging by the states. He says New York and New Jersey are doing this. We have given New York and New Jersey enough money to make sure they don't have to charge people this unbelievable fare. He said, and by the way, this is only taking place in blue cities. Miami, we have games, no issue, but Los Angeles, New York, these cities, these states are trying to basically steal from these spectators. It's not about the federal government. It's about Mikey Muhammad Cheryl. Your thoughts on the soccer?
So a couple of things. I had Alex Lasry in. He's running the New York, New Jersey site, MetLife. There's going to be 8 games there, including the finals, the round of 32 will be there. And he says it's nothing to do with us. So they do have to make more trains, but don't look at us. And then the next day I see the governor says, we're charging the World Cup committee. He's like, really? What are you charging us for? Well, I mean, because you have to increase trains. You should get more business that way. Just run more trains. You charge people for what they use. I mean, what is the problem? Wear and tear? I don't get it. I mean, they got to add some buses, so that's a bus fee. Don't add it to the train fee. And then when they saw the backlash, they said, we're going to charge the World Cup committee. Really? What are you charging the World Cup committee for? You guys are hosting. So very interesting because I was at the Super Bowl. Were you at the Super Bowl when we hosted in New York?
I certainly was. It was in New Jersey. It was Peyton Manning and the Broncos, I believe, taking on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
You were there. And
Yep.
I remember I was lucky enough to have a car, but did you see the lines to get on the train?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a joke.
Yep.
Freezing, too. So they have to make a huge adjustment. So make the adjustment. You've had 6 years to make the adjustment. And if the answer is $100 per train ticket, that is flat out gouging, because if you already have tickets, you really are hostage to the mass transportation because they could only fit so many cars there. Driving there with the security is going to be insane. If you think the parking lots are full for a Giant or Jet game, or more of a Giant game these days, but for a Giant game, forget about it. You have whole countries showing up that can't afford to go in, will just be sitting in the parking lot just to be part of it. You know who's going to be playing there? Brazil. There's nobody with a more groundswell of support in New York than Brazil. So there's going to be people everywhere. And to turn around and charge us $100, I mean, there should be for a train is ridiculous. But that's New Jersey.
That is. And listen, New Jersey's in a lot of trouble. I happened to put Joe Hathaway on this show on Monday, and he was running for that seat, talking about Mikey Muhammad Cheryl, that 11th district congressional seat in New Jersey when she went on to become governor. And he was taking on this Mejia lady who was endorsed by AOC in the squad, and she won that race relatively easily. So she's on her way to Congress. And again, she's friends with all the squad members. She's very publicly anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, all that stuff. So another major loss for the decent people of New Jersey with this lady beating Joe Hathaway yesterday.
Yeah, how about this? She's also defund ICE, defund the police, she said in the past. And now she says, well, I'm not radical. I just want to be known as a mom. Really? You're known as a mom. Don't make speeches like you're making. So we got another crazy member of the squad, only it's going to be in New Jersey. At one point, people have to realize what they're doing. So I thought Hathaway was very impressive. I don't know. I don't know if it was name recognition, but I hope it'll be a rematch because he brings a lot to the table. He's got experience. He's composed. He can give a speech, understands the issues. You want to be a moderate in New Jersey. You don't want to be, a staunch conservative. You're not going to be successful. So I thought he checked a lot of the boxes, but no one shows up for a Thursday special election. So she won at 8:07. So there was really not much of a fight there. But things aren't looking good right now. Until this war ends and prices start going down, Trump's going to have that convention, and he's going to get some momentum for his party. Right now, it looks a little tough because his main thing, gas prices are up. But, man, you land this plane, you get out that uranium, you leave what's left of the Iranian government limping and needing $270 billion to rehab, you'll be seeing that as a success story. And then all of a sudden they could get some momentum in the fall. But like losses like this don't make me feel optimistic for the midterm.